Coast, there is your projected winner. NBC estimates that when all the votes are counted, Bernie Sanders will walk away the victor from the New Hampshire primary. Tonight, he declared victory in the Iowa caucus, for that matter. 26, 24, 20 is where the percentages lay out, with 93% of the vote in tonight. And we thought we would take a look at the next two contests in this race, because, again, that is what we do.
And they come up soon.
They come up soon, and they're in disparate, fascinating places for all the reasons the very smart people who are part of our coverage have laid out for you tonight. So, first off, joining us is Jon Ralston, editor of the Nevada Independent. Happens to be one of the moderators of the upcoming NBC News MSNBC presidential debate. That's Wednesday, February 19th. That's going to be a party. And Meg Kennard, national politics reporter for the Associated Press in South Carolina tonight. Jon and Meg, thank you so much for joining us. Jon, to you first. Out in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada, you've perhaps been listening to our reporting and analysis. Please tell our national audience what changes for these candidates walking into your state.
Well, of course, as we've talked many times, Brian, Nevada has a much more diverse electorate. It's much more reflective of America than Iowa and New Hampshire, which are 90% white. And so it's a very different atmosphere here. It's not just that we're the weird Wild West of Nevada. It's that a different pitch needs to be made. It's where now, because of what's happened in those first two states, you have Joe Biden and Elizabeth Warren essentially fighting for their lives here against a Bernie Sanders machine, and it really is a machine, and a Mayor Pete machine that has been quietly waiting for some momentum to make a move here. And you had a development just tonight, Brian, that my reporter Megan Messerly of The Independent just broke, that the Culinary Union, which is the 800-pound gorilla of Democratic politics here, is now putting up flyers in the hotels and communicating directly with members, showing that Bernie Sanders would end, that's the word they use, end their health care. It's a direct assault on Bernie Sanders. Everyone sitting there on the set with you, and you know that there was going to be an attempt, a Stop Bernie movement. This is a sign of it.
Jon Ralston, it's your old friend Rachel Maddow here in New York. I'm so happy to see your face. You have taught me most of what I know about Nevada, and I grew up next door. But looking at that Culinary Workers flyer tonight, I got a copy of it just before we got you on the screen. It's not a don't go out and vote for Bernie Sanders. It's not a direct hit on him. As far as I understand it, there still hasn't been an endorsement, nor has the union decided whether they're going to endorse. But to throw this sort of shade on Sanders specifically when they're otherwise saying basically supportive things about all of the other candidates, is the subtlety with which this message is being delivered by the union something that is likely to resonate among their 60,000 workers who are going to turn out to vote on caucus day?
It's a great question, Rachel. And, you know, anybody who's covered union endorsements, any union endorsements over the years, the real question is, does the rank and file follow what the leadership is saying? Now, they are ratcheting up. The Culinary Union, they first put out a flyer that didn't name names, but was an oblique attack on anyone who supported Medicare for All. This one essentially is directed at Bernie, in my opinion, even though, as you say, it doesn't say don't vote for him. So there are two questions then. One is the one I just mentioned. Will the rank and file respond to this? And the second one is, will the Culinary Union endorse? I think Bernie Sanders has made incursions into the Culinary Union membership and made his own pitch, and I think he probably has some support. How much, I don't know. The real question is, how far does the Culinary Union go? Will they endorse? They didn't endorse in 2016, but I think they ended up helping through the efforts of Harry Reid talking to their leadership, helping Hillary Clinton, who barely staved off the challenge from Bernie Sanders. I think it's only 50-50 that they endorse. And the real question is, would they try to save Biden, who was doing well in the polls here, but now with 9% in New Hampshire and in a lot of trouble? They're not going to try to resurrect a corpse if that's what they think it is. Do they latch on to Mayor Pete now, who, if you look at that flyer, he is not attacked at all for not saying culinary health care. His Medicare for all who want it, I think, is listed there, if I remember correctly. So it's unclear. It's very unclear, Rachel, what the culinary is going to do and what the rank and file will do.
Let me bring